Hello everyone and welcome back to Broken Brian. I'm your host Stuart. I've tried to make this video about 3 times this week since Tears of the Kingdom has released, but my OCD brain was like, why should we talk about Tears of the Kingdom when we could be playing Tears of the Kingdom? Because it's a good game. Now most of you watching this probably don't know who I am, so I'm just going to do a little backstory of why I call myself a casual gamer, an OG casual gamer. Going back when I was a kid, starting with the pre-NES, I had a friend that lived 2 doors down who had an Atari. Her parents got her an Atari, and it was great. Video games at home were in. Played the Atari a lot. But we didn't always play games because most houses back then had one TV. So we would play when we could and we're outside the rest. And then a little bit later, my other friend who lived on the street, who's my best friend, still one of my closest and oldest friends to this day, got a Nintendo. And JJ got a Nintendo, so we were playing over his house all the time with it. But same scenario. Other family members wanted the TV. We had to give it up and go outside and do other things. So we weren't just constantly as kids gaming. I didn't get my NES till later. Growing up, it was a family decision. It was my parents put other things first about big, expensive gaming systems. So I was okay with it. I was always kind of like, I want it, but that's okay. I eventually got it. And then, after that, I eventually got Legend of Zelda. This is my original Legend of Zelda that was bought by my parents for me when it was a few months after it was released. I don't remember exactly when. But this is my original cartridge. I absolutely love this game. And what most people don't realize is that The Legend of Zelda was basically the first open world concept game that existed. Most of the times you have what you call a side scroller or stage style gaming. Like Mario. You beat level 1, you go to level 2, level 3, level 4, and continue, and you scroll across the screen, beating levels and going back, but this is your movement. Zelda was the first one that really did the open world concept where you can run around the map, go into dungeons. You didn't have to follow a set guidelines of you have to do this first, have to do this first, have to do this first. Well, if you went to this dungeon, couldn't beat it, come back out, do some more grinding, find some more weapons, get some more heart containers, come back, try again. So it was the first real game that was open world concept that by today's standard, how we understand it. So Zelda was groundbreaking at the time, literally one of my favorite games. I still play it. I play it on my NES Classic now. I don't really, because it's easier. It's an easier setup than setting up my NES. But shortly after that came out, I think a year, maybe 2, right after that, Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link came out. Now, they decided, for whatever reason, they were going to take the open world concept and the side-scroller concept and kind of mesh them together. And if you're guessing that sounds weird, it's because it was. It was so weird. The game mechanics were wonky. I played it. I never completed it. It was just, yeah, I've got it, but I don't play it. It wasn't as fun. It felt forced. It felt just terrible. So what I did is just went back to Legend of Zelda and played it all the time. Now, I didn't end up getting a Super Nintendo when I was a kid, but my friend JJ had one, and so I'd play Link of the Past over at his house. A Link to the Past. Sorry. And it was a fun game, and I never really beat it till much later in life when I borrowed it from him. He was moving around, and he had a box, and I was like, hey, can I borrow that for like a month? I'm going to beat Link to the Past. He was like, sure. And I beat it probably sometime sophomore, junior high school. So I finally did, and so loved it. Still played Legend of Zelda all the time. It's just a fun game. Starting over from scratch, doing it over, it was great. So then comes the 64, the Nintendo 64, and it came with Ocarina of Time. Now this is my second favorite. This was a game that was just so much fun. It took that it became one of the new bigger jumps in the open world concept, and I just had an absolute blast playing it, running around, swimming, diving, going into caves, exploring all this stuff in a more three-dimensional world. So absolutely, Ocarina of Time, still one of the games near and dear to my heart. And right after that comes the GameCube. Now, GameCube had Wind Waker, and I still have my copy. Love this game too. Not my favorite, but it's still fun to play. The problem with Wind Waker was the animation style. It took some getting used to. But after, about 10 hours of play, it began to feel natural again. So, it's okay. We can do it. We can keep going and keep playing. And then that was actually the latest Zelda game I played before Breath of the Wild. But about 6 or 8 months after Ocarina of Time, not Ocarina of Time, yeah, no, Wind Waker, sorry, getting confused here. After Wind Waker was released, I just happened to go into one of those game exchange places, and they had this, which is near and dear. I'm never getting rid of this. It's the GameCube edition of Ocarina of Time, plus the Master Quest version built into it. It was wonderful. It was great. I absolutely loved it. So I was reliving GameCube, my N64 on my GameCube. It was wonderful. And so it was just, like I said, I'm a Zelda fan. Hey, Zelda hat. So I never got a Wii either. I skipped the Wii. Just because I never got around to it. When the Wii was released, that was kind of a busy time in my life. Didn't really have time for gaming. And if I did, I was like, I had time or money to go spend on this and that. And so I just continued with my NES and my GameCube. So I would play Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, a little bit of Wind Waker. So a couple years ago, when my kids were older, and I decided I'm going to get them a Switch for Christmas. So I bought them a Switch for Christmas. Now, really and legitimately, I was kind of like, yeah, I want to play it, and I might get a game for myself here or there. I really wasn't thinking I'm going to get back into gaming pretty much at all. Just, I might play it until I was talking to my son, who was with his mom at the time, and said, yeah, I've been playing Breath of the Wild. It's so fun. I'm like, really? He's like, absolutely. I love it. So I went out and bought Breath of the Wild that day and started playing it. And blew my mind. Like, I knew it existed, and I knew it had been out for a while, but I never played it. And I was just kind of like, if I'm going to spend money on myself, I'm going to do something else. Just am. So I took it and was like, okay, this is way better than I thought it'd be. Way better. I had so much fun. I was a little frustrated, when you started on the OG Legend of Zelda and you get to Breath of the Wild, a lot of time has passed. My reflexes aren't quite as up to snuff as I'd like them to be for gaming. Just meant I had to take more time to learn. So I got Breath of the Wild. And so absolutely 100% loved it. And then take a look in the future that Tears of the Kingdom is coming out. So the moment it happened, the moment it came available for pre-order, I pre-ordered it. Why? Since I didn't really I wasn't that big of a gamer. I really love Breath of the Wild, and I haven't even completed it yet when it came up for pre-order. It's because picking up my son and driving home, the 2-hour trip, my son and I literally did nothing but talk Breath of the Wild. So absolutely, I'm buying Tears of the Kingdom. It helps me bond with my son. I'm getting it. Period. Hands down. Just not going to worry about it. It's worth the money. So I've been playing it for about 40 hours now, and I'm not that far into it, but it is huge. How huge? Well, at the beginning of the year, Hogwarts Legacy was released, and it was this huge thing. And believe me, I'm waiting for it to be released on Switch. It got pushed back to November. Really upset about that. I could go on a 2-hour rant about that alone. But, however, I've seen the gameplay, and it's fabulous. It looks great. There's a lot of things that are missing. There's a lot of things that are just not there that we expected. But this is the first iteration of Hogwarts since then. So absolutely, we're going to keep your eye on it. It broke records on sales, on Twitch streaming gameplay. It was the largest number of hours gameplay for a single player game in the history of Twitch. So I'm like, okay, this is a big deal. This might be game of the year. But I was like, Tears of the Kingdom is around the corner. It's going to be a tough one. Zelda has name recognition far beyond that of Hogwarts. So Hogwarts might be it might do more volume because it is on multiple platforms. It eventually will be on every major new gen platform and the previous gen platforms like PS4 and Xbox 360, Xbox One. I forget the Xbox numbers. They're so confusing. That's why I never switched to Xbox. So that map of Hogwarts measured out is approximately 3 square miles of map for you to run around. 3 square miles, 1.5. Yeah, I mean, so that seems like a lot. Breath of the Wild map is over 33,000 square miles. That's a big old world. Now, Breath of the Wild is bigger. But how can it be bigger when it's basically the same map from Breath of the Wild? Here's how. As you see some of this gameplay, this opening sequence, this is what it is. What's about to happen, as you see on the screen, is the upheaval is going to happen. And what the upheaval does is basically things go flying into the sky, and sky islands are created, formed, and not. Some are formed and some are shown again. Like apparently they existed before, but we never got to them. And then because of all the upheaval that you're seeing now, it created a cave system underneath. So basically you have the surface level right here and the cave system underneath. So that's 33,000 square miles, 33,000 square miles, 33,000 square miles. So we're at double the map size plus the Sky Islands. And the Sky Islands are big, but nowhere near even a quarter of the map size of any of the surface or subterranean world. And that means it's probably one of the largest, not quite the largest. There is a PC game, and I can't remember. I lost it on top of my head. There's a PC game that is open world map. It's just massive. It's about 5 times this, but it's kind of a niche game, but it exists. So all that to say is Breath of the Wild is huge. Tears of the Kingdom, even bigger. And this means way more to explore, way more to do, way more fun to have. And I'm about 40 hours in, so I don't have a lot of stuff. I haven't a lot of accomplishments. I haven't gotten to the point where I'm getting some of the champion stuff, the champion skills. But what you do have, you start out, you go through the initial stuff. You get the paraglider back. You get new abilities like recall, which is fun. You can move things, go back. You can ascend, literally go through things above you. So going from the subworld to the upper world takes about a second. Uh, the fuse is the new big thing, and this is why you don't have as many weapon sets out there, because you can fuse items together to enhance your weaponry, your shield, not your armor, not your gear, not what you wear. You can't do that. But you can fuse other items and make these machines and these events and not events, but there's fans, there's rockets, there's wood, there's bomb flowers you can attach to arrows, there's elemental stuff, so you basically make your own elemental arrows versus just having elemental arrows in the last one. And there's just so much because of it. Because adding this fuse feature means you can do so many weird things. Some really cool. Some people out there, I've seen some videos, seek help. Stop making that stuff. It's not nice. But it is quite amazing what you can build. Literally anything. It's impressive. You can build monsters. There was someone that I saw a video that someone built basically like an orbital laser platform that would fly up and start shooting lasers down at an enemy. Built an orbital laser platform. How crazy is that? This is built in the game. So it's like Minecraft on steroids inside Tears of the Kingdom. So this is going to be one of those things that just will endure. Like Breath of the Wild is one of those games that it's like, oh, we're going to be playing this for a long time. There's a lot of stuff to do. And there is. But also, there is so much you can do beyond that with these abilities. Your imagination is literally your limit. And like I said, I was playing it, and someone showed me a video, and orbital laser platform never came to my mind. Walking monster on skates, yeah, that didn't come to my mind either, but now I'm going to start thinking that way. I mean, some of the stuff is just crazy what you can do. Literally build a giant rocket ship to get up to the Skylands. You can build a literal rocket ship and shoot yourself up there. It's insane. So, Tears of the Kingdom, as a casual gamer, am I going to absolutely love this? 100%. Am I going to play it so many hours before I ever complete it? Absolutely. I'm probably going to put in so many hours because I love it. Running around, doing all the side quests, finding all this stuff. You got to do a lot more farming in here. Getting rupees seems to be a bit harder than it was in Breath of the Wild, so some of the gear that you do need to buy, it's going to take time to get. And honestly, with the progress of like most Zelda games, it starts out slow. You get a slow build in your progress, and then all of a sudden it takes a turn, and there you go. Things go really well for you. Problem to that is it takes a while. But with rupees being not as prevalent, and you're just going to do a lot more farming, and because a lot of gear does this very low defense, enemies hit a lot harder than they did in Breath of the Wild. So I mean, you can have 8 hearts and get one hit by a Bobobkin and just get killed in one hit. So it's going to take a lot of time for a lot of users that aren't just playing it constantly and just do a lot of different things, that are just pro gamers, casual gamers like myself. We're going to have an absolute blast playing this because we can fly, we can soar, we can explore, we can build, we can do all these things. And there's a lot of things, and one of the fun things that I noticed, but I heard it but didn't think about it, is if you use the same switch, hey, you know all those horses you collected in Breath of the Wild? You still got them. Sweet. So I've got Ganondorf's giant monster horse that I've been riding around on. It's absolutely wonderful. Getting around real fast with that monster of a horse. And it's fun. You've got the constructs, or kind of the new enemies, basically like these Skylands that you see here. It's a different race. They go through the gameplay. It's a different race. And they kind of help build Hyrule and they were kind of like, basically think of it as like Sky Atlantis. It was Sky Atlantis, so it's really cool. It is a game. If you are a casual gamer, if you think, oh, I like Zelda. I don't know if I've never really played Breath of the Wild. That's okay. If you play Breath of the Wild and you play this game, absolutely, you have an advantage. You kind of know the areas and where to go. Not all the resources and stuff that you used to get are not in the same place. Resources have changed, but the map and the way it kind of works, for the most part, is exactly the same. But you got caves. Some stuff's been shifted around because of the upheaval, and like here's one of those constructs that you can kind of use to create things. But I totally lost my train of thought. Yeah. Anyways, it's gonna be an absolute blast to play, even as a casual person. Oh, I remember now. If you've never played Breath of the Wild, and you think, oh, should I start here, or should I go play Breath of the Wild first and then play this game? Just grab this game, because the way it kind of leads you in the beginning, it's going to teach you the same steps and the same things that you learned in Breath of the Wild. It'll teach you some of the fighting techniques, the guarding techniques, the arrow techniques, the new throwing techniques. And it's going to walk you through all of that, through the shrines and through just different side quests and things like that. You're going to learn how to do everything just like you did back in Breath of the Wild. So absolutely, you don't have to play Breath of the Wild to play Tears of the Kingdom. Is it fun? Yes, it's fun to go back and play Breath of the Wild before. I was playing Breath of the Wild right up until this game hit my doorstep. So it's wonderful. Even if you haven't played Breath of the Wild, get this game. If you even think about it. If you've been thinking, I've never played it, but I do have a Switch, and maybe I should get it. Get it. If you're a full-time gamer and you just love gaming and it's part of this, yeah, absolutely, you're going to get it because everyone's going to be talking about it. Everyone's going to be playing it. No, everyone's going to be talking about this game for the next 6 months straight. It hands down. Like literally, Hogwarts. It was good for about two. I mean, the talk and the hype around it was probably through March, because once everyone got released on PC and the PS5 and the Xbox in January, and then the older P4 and the older Xbox was released in March, and now we're waiting on the Switch, which is the last one, which will be in November. They picked up a little bit each release, so that's kind of a good thing. But they're going to be talking about Tears of the Kingdom for the rest of this year. We're going to find things that we had no idea about it. Like, it's one of those things, year or two later, people are finding new things you can do in Breath of the Wild that just missed because it was so complex. And then we basically, the map is 2.5 times what it used to be. So absolutely, there are going to be things we miss and don't see, and we get to explore, and it's just going to be an absolute blast playing this game. You're not gonna regret it. Well, you might, because it's going to take up a lot of time, because it's going to be so much fun to play. Absolutely, it's going to be so much fun to play. I have not regretted any minute of it, but yet, let's just say, when I got it Friday, I didn't go to bed till sometimes late Saturday night. Like, I just didn't stop. Like, I played for close to 24 hours straight when I first got it. I absolutely loved it. Was just having an absolute blast. And I thought, okay, I was just curious, and yesterday was like, hey, I wonder if there's any, I was trying not to watch videos on the gameplay, videos on anything, because I just want to explore it myself and find this stuff. And come to find out, I was like, oh, there probably is not much. Oh my gosh. There's complete walkthroughs of shrines, complete walkthroughs of locations of all the Korok seeds and everything. I mean, so many people are playing this right now and uploading videos and uploading guides. It is incredible. Absolutely incredible. I can't even, I feel like I missed the hype by not getting Breath of the Wild when it came out, and I just didn't realize the hype. Um, but I do with Tears of the Kingdom. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful game. It's going to be one that I will continue to play for years and years to come. Like I play the original Legend of Zelda. I still do. I play it on my NES Classic constantly. I absolutely love the whole Zelda universe. I've even played some of. I've gone back and bought a Game Boy just so I can go back and get some of those Game Boy games and start playing those games I missed because I would never. There was so long of a gap from Wind Waker to Breath of the Wild that I didn't game, and this kind of inspired me. It's like I remember this. I remember playing this. This is so much fun. Playing Link and running around and doing things is reliving and rekindling memories from childhood and things like that. So absolutely 100%, this is going to be Game of the Year in my opinion. It's going to be game for life for me. I'm going to love this game. I haven't finished it, but I don't even see how it could disappoint me at this point. I'm 40 hours in, and I'm just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's do more. Let's do more. Let's do this. Let's do this. Ooh, let's try to find this. Let's try to find this. Okay. I'm doing all these side quests, all these weird. I love the side quests. Don't get me wrong. I love the main story and everything, and I'll finish it. But side quests just make it interesting. I'm one of those people that I'll run around and do the side quests for 40 hours straight, and knock out every side quest I can find. Then I'll get back onto the storyline, and because I have to get back on the storyline to open more side quests. So it's a fun game. Absolutely get it 100%. Casual gamer, big time gamer. It's going to be fun. Kids, younger kids, I'm looking forward to talking this with my son, playing with it with him, because we absolutely have a blast every time. When he's here, we just have an absolute blast with Zelda games. He's recreating his He's got new game set up here, so he's redoing a lot of his Breath of the Wild stuff. He's doing Tears of the Kingdom. He will do Tears of the Kingdom stuff in a couple weeks with me. It's going to be a blast. I'm just glad because this go around I actually have the advantage because I'm actually playing it way before he did, and the reverse was true last time. So we're going to have an absolute blast with this game. It's going to be a bonding experience. It's going to be something that I get to share with and pass down this love of Zelda, the love of video games to my son, and I can't sing the praises of this thing enough. I haven't seen any glitches. I haven't had any random power outages or random just shutdowns of the software while it's running. It's running smooth for me 100% of the time. The only problem I had is not a game issue, it's a Joy-Con issue. I need to go buy some new ones because I got some weird drift starting to get some weird drift on my left Joy-Con. So that's one of the things. So otherwise, I'm telling you 100%, this game is awesome. Period. Now, sorry I've been way behind. I've been trying to make some videos. Life has gotten in the way. This is only my second video I've ever made for this channel. I've got about 4 that I'm just thinking about in my head right now. Some of them I'm working on. Review of Mario's coming up. I haven't forgotten my review for Portable Door. It's coming up too. I'm about 3/4 of the way through the book. I need to finish it. I need to sit down and just finish it this weekend. Should have done this weekend, but Tears of the Kingdom came out. Of course I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom over reading. And I love reading. That's how much I love Zelda more. I love Zelda more than reading. So, go get this game. Enjoy it. Pass it down to your kids. Explore it with them. Trust me. They'll love it. You'll love it. And so, until next time, have a good day.